Hola, necesitas sacar el paquete de gramática porque hoy vamos a tomar apuntes sobre el imperfecto. There are ways other than the simple past tense, like I studied, to say that something happened. You can also say I used to study or I was studying. In Spanish, these ideas are expressed by the imperfect tense. So just to clarify, there are two past tenses in Spanish. There's the preterite and there's the imperfect. The preterite is like saying I studied, and the imperfect is like saying I used to study or I was studying. So we shouldn't say, oh, I'm conjugating in the past. We want to say that we're conjugating in the preterite or that we're conjugating in the imperfect. We want to differentiate between the two. And yeah, I know, it kind of stinks. There's two past tenses, and after we learn the imperfect tense today, in about a week, we're going to learn when you use each one. The imperfect is another past tense in Spanish. We're going to be using it to describe something that was not perfected or not completed in the past. You're going to use it for four main reasons. To talk about something that was happening, to talk about something you used to do, to say how old someone was, or to tell what time it was. So age and time, what was happening, or what you used to do. Those are the four main reasons to use the imperfect tense. Let's look at just our AR endings by themselves. I'm going to call these the ABBAs, and you'll see why in 1 second. We got our endings starting with ABBA, ABBAS, ABBA, ABBAMOS, and ABBA. You'll notice that there's only an accent on the nosotros form of AR verbs in the imperfect tense. Now let's take a look at our imperfect ER, IR endings for regular verbs. I call these my IAs, and you're going to see why in a second. IA, IAS, IA, IAMOS, IAN. Every ER, IR ending for regular verbs has an accent mark on the I. So, here are some examples of regular verbs taking their imperfect endings like estar. Let's go through and say them. Estaba, estabas, estaba, estábamos, estaban. Or hacer. Hacía, hacías, hacía, hacíamos, hacían. Or salir. Salía, salías, salía, salíamos, salían. Hopefully by now you've figured out two important things. The first important thing is that the yo form and the usted el ella form are the same, the exact same. You're going to have to use context clues to figure out who the subject is. Also, please note that it doesn't matter if it's an AR verb, an ER verb, or an IR verb, the nosotros form always has an accent. We only have three verbs that are irregular in the imperfect. Out of all of the verbs in the entire Spanish language, whenever we're conjugating in the imperfect tense, only these three, ser, ir, and ver, are going to be irregular. Our conjugations of ser in the imperfect tense are era, eras, era, éramos, got an accent, and eran. Our conjugations of ir are iba, ibas, iba, íbamos, accent, and iban. And our conjugations of ver, all of the ver conjugations have an accent. Ver is considered irregular because you keep the e. Veía, veías, veía, veíamos, and veían. Only three irregular verbs. That makes me feel so happy. Just like that happy cow, or that happy sheep, or that happy pufferfish. Or hey, look, it's a happy hedgehog. So, once you're done finished taking notes, don't forget to take your Google quiz afterwards.